Number 5 Gators men's basketball team is the SEC's regular season champions, but they still have their final game against the Kentucky Wildcats on the road today. Can they win their regular season finale before the SEC tournament? We'll find out soon. Gator Game Day starts right now. Welcome to another edition of Gator Game Day. I'm your host, Jada Ross, here with our wonderful analysts, Hunter Zabarski and Nate Bilgray. Guys, Florida is now SEC regular season champions, and I feel like it's very early to be talking about this title, but can you believe it's March already?
I don't know where the time went. I feel like just yesterday, Xavier Lee was committing to Florida, and then we celebrated him on senior night this week. That's crazy, is it not?
Now the season's almost over and we're about to graduate. How about that?
Time is not our friend, is it?
I know. February, honestly, it flew by, but Florida, they are SEC regular season champions now. This is their 7th regular season title. The last time they earned this was all the way back in 2014, which is over a decade ago now. Nate, what is the significance of this title when Florida still has the SEC tournament to play in?
Well, it's a great question because you can't get complacent when you have the most important games of the year to come. But the biggest difference really is established dominance over a long period of time versus a hot stretch where you win a couple of games. The SEC regular season title, what that tells me is that Florida was the best team for 15 plus games. That is dominance, dominance, dominance. Now the SEC tournament, great and all because, you know, guaranteed bid to the tournament, but Florida's locked in as a 2 seed. So, as Coach Golden said, you know, I'm leaning more towards the SEC regular season title as kind of being the cream of the crop here.
Definitely, Florida celebrated that. They even started cutting down the nets after playing Arkansas. And they still had the Mississippi State game at home, so I don't know if they celebrated a little bit too early. But Hunter, do you think it's worth celebrating this title when Florida still has so much more ahead of them?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, Nate said it. You know, traveling, game plan, dominance. That goes on for months throughout the season, and I mean, once you get a taste of winning, as these guys are competitors, it's an addiction, and all you want to do is get that taste again, right? So cutting down the nets against Arkansas isn't a sign of content with what they've done. It's that, hey, we're going to get back in the gym and work 10 times harder the next day because we want to feel this again. For me, winning starts up here, and they've proven that they have the mental capacity to handle wins and move forward from it.
Unfortunately, we won't see any more wins in the O-Dome because there's no more home games for the rest of this season. But Gator Game Day's very own Jelianis Ramos was in the O-Dome on Tuesday to see Florida's final hurrah at home.
As the Gators get ready to wrap up their home games for the 2026 season, they get to do so by celebrating 2 of their seniors in Xavier Lee and Micah Hanglongton. As well, they get to show out for some of the Gators, the rowdy reptiles that are known to be some of the best fans in college basketball.
No Thomas Houck, no problem, as the Gators welcome the Mississippi State Bulldogs. The team looked to extend its winning streak to 10 games in a row. From the tip-off, the environment was electric. The Gators were expecting more from Alex Condon with the absence of Houck, and he did not shy away from the spotlight. The Bulldogs were ready to put up a fight against the #1 team in the SEC. Halfway through the first half, Hail State took a 10-point lead. The Gainesville native, CJ Ingram, came off the bench and helped turn the momentum around. With back-to-back threes, the Gators never trailed again.
It was awesome, especially when they came from a freshman over there, hitting 2 back-to-back threes. Just plays like that, big momentum swings, and I mean, it shows just how much each and every player on this team means to us.
The Rowdy Reptiles were loving every single second of it. The rest of the team followed with Xavier Lee, Condon, and Boogie Flynn pushing the pace. The Gators entered the half up by 12 points. With the eyes on the prize, the Gators did not lift the foot off the gas, attacking the basket, and don't forget about the threes. The Gators had an extraordinary performance by Ruben Shinilu, tying the record with Bob Smythe for most double-doubles in a season by a Gator. And Condon led the team in points with 26, and Lee was right behind him with 19, surpassing 1,500 points in his collegiate career. To close out the night, the Gator fans sang "One Last Won't Back Down" for the season. As the clock nears 0, the walk-on Cooper Josephsberg made the O'Connell buzz once more.
I do this. It's what I've been doing. Yeah, cool.
The Gators' win tonight marked the 100th career win for Todd Golden as the Gators' head coach, a stellar performance to close out their home games. The team will now go on the road to close out the regular season against the Kentucky Wildcats. Reporting from the O-Dome, Julianis Ramos for Gator GameDay.
Thank you, Jelly. With the end of the regular season here, let's take a really quick look at the SEC standings right now. If you take a look, Florida is 15-2 in conference, and Alabama, Arkansas right behind them. Kentucky is at 8th. They're tied with Vanderbilt, Missouri, and Texas A&M, 10-7 in conference. But the funny thing is, the last time Kentucky and Florida played, Kentucky played here in the O-Dome, and they were second in the SEC. So, Hunter, how have things changed for Kentucky then now that they're 8th place in the SEC since the two last faced each other?
Kentucky's a very streaky team. They had entered that game in Gainesville on a winning 3 straight before that. And then that loss to Florida happened, and they suffered losses to Georgia and Auburn to follow. And this is a team that really has a 3-headed snake. And Owe averaging 18 points a game, Denzel averages 13 points per game, and Colin Chandler averaging 10 points per game. Those are the only 3 guys averaging double digits for this team. For reference, Florida has 6. All right, so for these guys, I mean, they come in, they score points, you expect that, but the depth hasn't been there for Kentucky. And although Otega Owe has had big games, Denzel Aberdeen has had big games, they've struggled without that depth. I mean, you see there Colin Chandler, he's got range for sure. Yeah. This is a Kentucky team, 3rd defensively in the SEC, right behind Florida, but 10th in terms of offense, only averaging 81 points per game. They're relying on the big 3, they lack depth, and they're struggling so far.
Yeah, Kentucky was, second in the SEC at that point. Florida was still had that top spot in the SEC, but Florida's gotten a lot better since. Nate, how have things changed for the Gators since that last game that Kentucky and Florida played against each other?
Well, there's 2 things, Jada, that jumped to top of mind for me immediately. And first is depth. You talk about Kentucky being a 3-headed snake. The last time Florida and Kentucky played each other, Isaiah Brown was a non-factor. I mean, the guy had 0 points on 2 shots, and in the last 3 games, 20-plus minutes in 2 of them. The one game, it was the Arkansas game, I'm sure you all remember, where he didn't play 20-plus. 8 points in 1 minute. And then you throw in CJ Ingram, who bursts onto the scene out of nowhere. Like, what? This team, the depth is unreal. And then there's the shooting. Xavier, Herb, Boogie. I mean, the backcourt, it was ugly to start the year. Since that Kentucky game, 43% from beyond the arc. And, I just think this team can handle Kentucky because of the depth. Which brings me to Thomas Houck. He's a guy who, I don't know, he's awesome, great player, but if he's a little banged up, I don't think the Gators need him.
Yeah, he didn't play against Arkansas, or Mississippi State, excuse me. He injured his foot against Texas, and so if he doesn't play today against Kentucky, is that going to be an important factor? Nate, what are you thinking there?
I'm good. Like, Tommy, we know what you can do. We know what this team is with Thomas Houck. Again, I said it before. Florida can handle Kentucky because of the depth. Hunter, if there is even a doubt, a smidgen of a doubt in Todd Golden's mind that Tommy could get re-injured in this Kentucky game, pull the plug.
Yeah, it's probably better to rest him, honestly, is what I'm thinking. And if you're looking at bracketology, because Florida still has so much more left to play, March Madness-wise, the top 3 1 seeds are already clinched, and UConn is looking to have that 1st seed, and Florida having that 2nd seed. However, things are still moving around there. Nate, do you think that Florida has a chance to clinch that 1 seed?
Yeah, but it's kind of out of their control at this point. Like, obviously, if Florida goes and wins out and takes down the SEC, sure, they're playing their best ball, but I don't know. UConn has the head-to-head, and it's out of their control there.
Yeah, but if it comes down to head-to-head, that gives Florida a really good chance, a really good opportunity if that's what the committee's looking at. I mean, this is a team that, they lost the head-to-head, but they've been playing like a 1 seed for the past couple of months. And for Florida, I mean, it really is in UConn's hand, and Florida does their part. It could come down to that head-to-head matchup. It could go either way, honestly.
Yeah, it seems to me what you guys are saying is it doesn't really matter if Florida has the 1 or 2 seed, which is interesting because so many fans feel that Florida deserves this 1 seed. But that's an interesting take from you guys. Well, when we come back, we'll look at the road pressures of this final game and what Florida can do to beat out Kentucky today. Gator Game Day will be right back. Welcome back to Gator Game Day. I'm your host, Jada Ross, here with our two analysts, Hunter Zabarski and Nate Bilgray. We've been talking all things. Oh, you want a little fist bump there?
There we go. Get him in there. Right?
All things Gators basketball and this Kentucky matchup today. Florida's been so dominant on the road. They're on a 7-game win streak, not being in the O-Dome. And the last road game that they lost in was against Missouri, all the way back in early January. However, the Rupp effect may place a little bit of a damper on Florida's plans, but Gators' Thomas Houck says he is not too concerned about it, even though Kentucky has a 14-3 home record and the Gators are 12-55 overall in Rupp Arena.
I mean, Kentucky's Rupp's good. It's a good place, tough place to play, but there's a number of other ones in our league that I would say are really tough to play in as well. But obviously the tradition and history, that come with that program, bring a little more excitement, leading up to the game, and it's a fun place to compete.
That was Gators head coach Todd Golden, and he's on the same page as Thomas Houck. They both are thinking that this really isn't going to be that big of a factor for Florida here. However, when Kentucky came to the O-Dome, Florida fans were not welcoming to them, and they especially weren't welcoming to former Gator Denzel Aberdeen. I'm curious, Hunter, is Kentucky going to return this favor to Florida, and could it affect their ability to win out? I'm not sure.
Yeah, 100% they'll return the favor. Whether it actually impacts the way the Gators play, we're yet to see. I know 20,000 fans in that arena is going to be a little tight, a little packed in there for the Florida. And I know what the stats say. Trust me, I'm a stats guy. 43 and 110 all time, 12 and 55 away, 3 and 11 in the last 14. It's hard to go against the stats, but I also know better than to bet against the team that's won their last 4 games by 19 points. Yes, it will be loud, but Florida's dealt with those kinds of games in the past. I don't think it'll have much of an impact.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And I mean, obviously, Kentucky has the advantage historically, but Kentucky's also a historic blue blood. Kentucky has 8 national championships since Florida first played in Rupp. So, yeah, Kentucky has the advantage. They've also just had better teams. Now, in the golden era, times are a-changing, my friends.
You both don't seem too concerned about how Rupp Arena is going to affect Florida tonight, but there are some essential keys to Florida's game tonight against Kentucky, and one is stopping Colin Chandler. He had a career high against Vanderbilt the other week with 23 points, and another thing is that Florida needs to be consistent on their free throws. They're 71% from the foul line. Kentucky's right behind them neck and neck at 72%. And both of these things are going to be essential. Let's send it over to the Gator Wall, though, where Hunter and Nate are to break down these keys to the game.
Yeah, we'll start out real quick with Colin Chandler. I think that's a massive one for me, Hunter. I don't think Kentucky's good enough to play with Florida for 40 minutes unless you have a flamethrower who's totally changing the game. Like the first Florida and Kentucky game, Colin hit 5 threes, close game. He, to me, is the X factor, the needle mover on that offense. You dampen the fire, and I think Florida's going to slowly but surely run away with it.
Yeah, and you're talking about 3-pointers. That was a big conversation for Florida's weakness this season, but I've got another one. It's free throws. This team is 227th in the nation in terms of free throw percentage, about 71%. Right, but they're 26 when it comes to the amount of free throw shots they get a game. The amount of attempts they have is about 25. So you're looking at a team that gets a lot of free throws, doesn't convert on them. This is a Kentucky team midweek against Texas A&M. Gave up 39 free throws. All right, those are easy points. All right, but enough of what we've got to say about it. Let's show you here on our Gator Wall.
All right, Gator Wall, my favorite part. I want to examine a sequence from that first Florida and Kentucky game. Let's roll that tape. All right, 8-point game, 3.5 to go. Crucial moment for both teams. Freeze it right here. Okay, keep your eyes on Urban Klavjar, best 3-point shooter on the floor. Denzel Aberdeen, former Gator. And man, all right, let's keep that tape rolling. Okay, so you'll see the half-court progression. Ultimately, the goal is to get Klavjar on that far side, a 3-point look. Klavjar relocates. This is where things start to get interesting. Thomas Houck gets out of the way. Alex kind of sets a ghost screen here. Wait, all right, freeze it right here. Okay, so this is what I want you to notice. This space that Urban Klavjar has right here is because Alex, set a little ghost screen, but he didn't actually physically bump Denzel Aberdeen. He was more of a distraction, gets out of the way, but Kentucky's laziness on the perimeter. Look, Denzel Aberdeen doesn't even try to hedge the screen. He doesn't try to go over, and Condo's man has to recover and drop back and take care of him down here. So then Herb has, do you see this? You cannot give Urban Klavjar that much space. Roll that tape. Let's watch the 3-ball go in, bada bing, bada boom. Wait, my favorite part, Colin Chandler. No, why? You can't give Urban Klabschar that much space. I mean, there's a certain laziness on the perimeter with Kentucky's defense that if I think Florida takes advantage of, finds their spots, gets served the ball, they're in good shape.
Yeah, there was a lot of head down there, shoulder shrugs, right? For Todd Goldenson after the first time they played, $22 million roster, you kind of see talent doesn't always mean chemistry. You see right there, that's not Kentucky's only problem in this one, as we'll pull up a different tape, and we've got Florida here. And we keep it paused right here just to show you all of the players running. Look at Chinyulu. He's the last guy there. Make your bets right now on who you think gets across the half-court line first. Go ahead and roll it. Right now, Klabschar gets the ball, passes it over to Zay Brown, and we're going to stop it right here because we're not focused on the three-point shot. We're focused on what's happening here in the paint. Chinyulu was the last player, but gets himself right in front of the basket. He's treating this offensive rebound opportunity like it's a defensive rebound, putting himself in front of the defender and in front of the basket. All right, so now we go ahead and roll the tape right here. He's ready for the rebound. It doesn't come, and we'll stop it one more time because there's two things that this is going to help with. Right? Not only did he create the opportunity for him to get the rebound, but look at all the space he's allowing for him to drive. And, I mean, do you see that there? Chinyulu has 2 arms around 2 defenders, 1 for each of them. He has a 7'8" wingspan. I can't even do that on my own in the studio.
Do you need my help? You want me to jump in here?
This is a 7'8" wingspan. That's what you're looking at because I can't do it all on my own. He's a freak of nature. All right, so let's go ahead and roll the tape. It's his size, it's his speed, it's his ability to get there that helps him. We'll play this one through, just a little rim cam for you, give you a little insight. And again, you see right there, the arrow is going to come in here, showing you down low just how physical he is. And let's give the fans what they want. Roll that tape, finish it out. And let's see Zay Brown with the dunk, 2-hand slam. Doesn't get much better than that. That's going to do it for me, myself, and Nate Bilgaway at the Gator Wall. Calling our lovely host, Gator Ross.
Well, thank you guys for that breakdown and whatever this little Titanic demonstration was. I don't really know what you guys were going for there.
A lot of time together.
Well, when we come back, we'll take a look at who Florida's projected to play in March Madness and also play a fun little game where we get to hear from some of you Gator fans. Gator Game Day, we'll be right back. Welcome back to our final segment of Gator Game Day. I'm your host, Jada Ross, here with our analysts Nate Bilgray and Hunter Zabarski. We're going to get into our final game of our final segment, but before we get into that, let's take a look at who Florida's projected to play in March Madness. So right now, Florida is at a 2 seed, and they are here playing potentially 15th seed Troy, and then you have 7th seed Villanova, potentially playing 10 seed St. Louis. So things are still moving around though in the South, in all of the seedings and all of the brackets. Things are still very fluid and moving around. How do you guys feel about this right now?
What's that? I think it's KFC, right? Finger licking good. Like, do I have the fast food chain right? I could be totally mixing it up in my brain.
You're right.
Okay, because I mean, Troy is equivalent to a Merrimack, who's also projected to be a 15 seed that we played earlier on in the year. So I mean, I feel good about the South. Obviously, you talked about it. Things are kind of still volatile. I saw Purdue there a couple of days ago. Anything could happen. But I just feel good about Florida's size against all 3 of these teams.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's the size factor. You look at all these other teams in the bracket, I mean, no one really competes size-wise with Florida. They should be able to impose that in those first couple rounds.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. So now it's time for our final segment game. Every Gator Game Day show, in our final segment, we play a game, and this time we asked fans questions about Florida men's basketball. This time you guys are going to get to see how you stack up against what the fans say. So are you guys ready?
Bring it on. I'm ready for it.
I guess I'm ready. Okay, I'm ready.
Right. First question that we asked our rowdy reptiles is, what Gator player would you want with you stranded on an island?
Okay.
Nate, you up first.
All right.
Who'd you pick?
I feel like the logical answer here has to be Ollie. right?
It's the logical answer.
Is that the logic? I mean, I don't know. You need to drink water. There's coconuts and trees. He's 7'9". Ollie, can you get me the hydration? Yeah.
Hunter.
Yeah, that's not my logical answer, so we've got a little bit of confusion there. I'm going Thomas Houck. We all know he likes the fish. I gotta eat.
True.
All right.
I like that.
Well, let's take a look at what some Gator fans said.
Big Freaky!
Yes, Big Freaky.
Tommy Houck.
I think I'm going to take Olivier.
Ruben.
Big Freaky! I feel like he wouldn't let me die.
Fox.
Well, the winner of this question was Ruben Chinyelu, which actually I would have said too. I mean, he's big. I think he could, build us a fire, cut down some trees, all that stuff.
Tommy's the fisher, I'm the hunter. I mean, it would have been the perfect combination for me.
That's a
But
good
can you
one.
actually hunt though?
It's
Can
in
you
the
actually
DNA.
hunt?
Oh,
It's in the
I
DNA.
don't know if I
It's in the
trust
name.
your
Yeah, it
guys'
comes with
survival
it. Come on.
instincts, so I'm gonna
not
say
choosing this
I was right on this because I was right with the fans, and I would have picked Ruben. But second question is, with the fate of the universe on the line, who do you take having the final shot from the Gators?
Okay. You guys want my answer?
Yeah.
Fate of the
would-
universe on the line.
Give it to us.
Out of anyone on the Gators, Martians are pointing the death beam at Earth. Give me Cooper Josephsberg.
Oh, wow.
He's 100% from three. He got off the bench, went out there, shot a ball from NBA range, and nailed it.
Statistically, he does have the
He's the
best
guy.
record
There's
right
just
now.
one problem.
So
That's the only minutes he's seen for the rest of the season. He won't be out there in clutch
That
time.
just shows how clutch
I'm
he is.
taking
though.
Urban. I'm taking Klavjar. Give it to me. Let's see it.
all right, let's see what the fans said.
Give me Xavier Lee. I'm going Boogie Flan.
Give me Tommy Hall.
Urban Klavjar.
Game winner, I'm taking Urban. Give me Urban from 3.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with the fans. I would say Urban as well, and that's who won.
Okay, just quickly to defend myself, this was before the game. So Cooper, they hadn't seen what Cooper could do.
They hadn't seen what he could do at
right?
the same
That's fair.
Klavjar's at the leg kick, so you get the foul.
at
and,
the
you
same
know,
time. I hope I'm not in whatever
take
universe that you picked Cooper in. So for our third question, we asked fans who will be the leading scorer in this game against Kentucky. Hunter, what's your take?
Yeah, I'm going Condon for this one. This is an obvious answer from me. He scored more than 20 points in 4 of his last 5 games.
I'm going to take a different one. I feel like it relates to the video. I'll go Herb. We talked about how lazy they are on the perimeter defensively. You find him in the open spots, Bang,
Now
bang.
you want to choose Urban?
Yeah, right? You just
Well,
order beer.
Cooper's he's not gonna play enough to be the leading scorer. It's just one shot. You said one shot, right?
No, yeah, I said one shot. All right, let's take a look at what you guys said.
Oh, Urban. Yeah.
Oh, I'll do Thomas. Oh.
Tommy Hall!
Well, it was Thomas that had the answer there from Gator fans. Do you guys agree with that one?
Is he gonna play? Golden said he's
We'll see.
probable, so I mean, I don't know. Like that's just the variable you can't control.
We'll see. We're not sure yet.
Was that a competition? Did I win that? I think I won that.
Well,
Let's
I
go
don't
on
know.
record. And I won that one right there.
I don't know
So.
if we tallied the score
That's
here.
crazy. You just stepped in front of me. I'll give you the win. I'll give you the win because Cooper is gonna hit the shot for me, and I'll be alive when the Martians have the death beam.
Look at the last laugh, huh?
All right, well, that's it from me, Hunter, and Nate. We'll be back here in a few weeks for a very special March Madness edition of Gator Game Day. From all of us here, thank you for tuning in. Gator Game Day will be back soon.